Dwarven Mine? Uh-oh. Red alert, guys. We have a polymorph situation here. What? Does this not work? Creature cards in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield. Oh my gosh. This is the same stuff as freaking Living End. It says those players put the exiled cards onto the battlefield, then shuffle. So Velomachus comes into play from exile, not from the... Oh my gosh, that's so frustrating. Okay. Alright. Composure. I guess the cage does something. It stops them from casting. It doesn't stop them from polymorphing into the Velomachus, though. Hello, and welcome, guys. We have match 2 coming in hot here, playing some Urza Saga. We managed to narrowly win match 1, despite having blundered away game 1. I'll still have to look back at the footage on that one to see if maybe I picked up the wrong land or what the heck happened there. But regardless, if you want to check that out, along with details of the deck list that I will not be covering here, then go check out match 1. Link will be in the description below. And yeah, I'm excited to jump in for match 2 here, and maybe we can get one of those Urza Saga into Grafdigger's Cage wins against like Storm or Dredge or something. That would be cool. But regardless, I will see you guys here for match 2. Alrighty, let's hop in here for the match. See if we're on the play this time. Cool. Play against Little Boxer. Very intriguing name. And here we have one of those classic turn 3 3-drop, turn 4 Titan kinds of hands that I despise and will not keep. And look at this, we're already rewarded by having an Urza Saga to play on turn 1. We have a bounce land to go along with our 3-drops. Stronghold is a little weak, but at least it's an untapped source, so we're absolutely keeping this, and we can easily bottom the Summoner's Pact. It'll be unfortunate if we happen to be playing against a Thoughtseize opponent where they can take our Titan and then one of our redundant copies is already on the bottom of our deck, but I mean, to be honest, we're going to be shuffling our library with this Urza Saga, assuming we ever get to actually sacrifice it. I have in the past encountered things like Cleansing Wildfire and Field of Ruins to try to stop this Saga thing from going, and that's a real thing that happens. Alright, our opponent's on Wooded Foothills Go. Very interesting. My first thought is Dredge, perhaps. I guess this could perhaps be some sort of like red-based like Electrodominance deck that is just gonna like offer something on our instep, or I don't know. It wouldn't be a burn deck most likely because they would have a 1-drop play. I mean, we have no choice but to just play out the Stronghold here and pass. And unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna have the ability to cast Titan this upcoming turn unless we happen to exactly draw second Amulet. We'll be able to get all of our 3-drops into play though, which is not nothing. Stomping Ground tapped. Okay, it could be perhaps a Valcut deck of some sort, like Scape Shift. Ridden 6. Okay, so my guess is this is going to be some sort of Temur Valcut deck. Interesting. It could also be like a Bring to Light sort of strategy, but they haven't yet shown us a Triome, which I would have expected. Yep, we're just going to go ahead and sack the Saga here. We could float the mana, but there's no real reason to, I don't think. Actually, if we had floated the mana, because I always assumed that this was happening in our draw phase, not in our main phase. If we left a colorless floating, we would be able to play Azusa and go up to 5 mana. So then, oh, we would have been able, with the Pact, to cast Titan by searching for a Grazer with the Pact. So it was a little bit of a punt there. Actually, we should have floated the mana. Lesson learned. This does trigger in your main phase, so if we had floated the colors, we would have been able to use it there, which is... Well, I mean, we learned it. Definitely learning here. Dude, this is my, 5th league with the deck so far, and I still did not realize that this would float the mana in our main phase, which is kind of crazy, if I'm being completely honest. Now we're just one short of casting Titan if we were to pack for Grazer, so... It's okay, we'll just do it next turn when our opponent has remand up, and then we'll cry when it doesn't resolve, and... yeah, we'll feel bad about ourselves, and it'll be great. And, like I was saying about Urza Saga putting us down a land, we are now stuck with just this bounce land and our 3-drops in play. Which, admittedly, there are worse places for us to be stuck at, but, like, I mean, it's not perfect. Really sad that we could have cast a Titan this turn and I didn't realize it. Maybe that's why I haven't been enjoying Saga as much as I should is because I haven't been floating this mana in the main phase. Like I said, I always assumed this was in the draw step and that the mana would just go away, but it looks like it triggers that end of draw step, so it would still be usable mana, which is very strange. Let me know if in the comments if you guys knew that that was how Saga worked. I'm still not entirely convinced, even though I suspect that's how it works. Part of me still just disbelieves it. If we had one more land drop, we'd actually be able to double Titan here, but anyways. Let's see, we have 4 total land drops. So we can play Yavimaya into Sanctuary, and then play Sanctuary a couple more times, leave a white floating, cast Titan if it resolves, get Valakut, and Stronghold off of the Valakut and the white floating. And that leaves us with an extra land in play. So I guess this is the plan. Of course, one of the tricks I'm using here is to hold W, which is the key for me to be able to auto mana, as I know that the bounce land mana is going to be at the top of the abilities. If I just click it, you'll see right here, it shows the 2 mana ability. So if you hit W, it'll auto mana for you, which is not something that everybody knows. That helps the process go a little faster. One of those little tips and tricks that I like to use. And as much as I want to pick up the Yavimaya, there's no guarantee that our Titan is about to resolve, so I think we just have to pick up the Sanctuary, actually. We'll leave that white floating in case our Titan does resolve. Of course it's not going to resolve. Why would it resolve? That would be ridiculous. Alright, well, let's just go to combat. I guess just send everything at the Ren? Like, might as well. If they have a Remand or a Cryptic for this upcoming turn, then this will let us get the Ren out of the way. And of course, if they have Cryptic, we can play around it by going to combat first and sending everything at the Ren, so they can't Cryptic counter tap. What is this? 3 mana. Like, my instinct is it's an Anger of the Gods, but that actually doesn't help our opponent at all, because we can get Crumbling Vestige of Vesuva to copy the Stronghold. Prismari Command. That one definitely hurts quite a bit. And again, like I said, it's really regretful that we had to leave the Yavimaya in play instead of leaving the Sanctuary in play and picking up the Yavimaya, because now we're like 2 land drops behind or whatever, comparatively, but drawing Castle, interesting. Yeah, there's not a whole lot that we can do here. We do get to take care of the Ren, so it's a good thing we double attacked that last turn. So I guess we're just playing out our land drops here. And we'll pick up the Yavimaya, so our opponent has to fetch their Wood of Foothills if they want to use it for mana, I suppose. And we'll send this Dryad at their Ren. Get out of here, Ren and 6. Don't like your face around here. We don't take too kindly to free land drops. Dwarven Mine? Uh-oh! Red alert, guys. We have a polymorph situation here. Oh, they just block. Never mind. I mean, they could have a fetch land, another Dwarven Mine, and then polymorph into Emrakul, and we just, like, lose. I was not expecting this to be Rug Polymorph, because, like, usually when you see this many, like, mountains that are in play, Raugrin Triome, Steam Vents, and Stomping Ground are obviously all mountains, I'm like, okay, clearly this is a Valakut strategy. I mean, it could be both, to be honest. It could be some sort of, like, hybrid build. That would be an interesting approach to it, but, of course, our opponent could also just be combo killing us by, you know, just morphing into an Emrakul and hoping it's good enough. Admittedly, we might be able to beat that. If we were to play Yavimaya, activate Garenbrig, cast Titan, get Valakut, Vesuva, send 2 triggers up at them, put them to 9, pick up the Vesuva, we'd be 1 land off short, I guess. Since we have to play the Yavimaya out to be able to cast Titan in the first place. Because we could have picked it up, and then played it as a copy of Sanctuary, and then picked it up, and then played it as a copy of Valakut for an additional 3 triggers, plus the 2 from it entering, which would have been enough for lethal, but we only have 2 land drops this upcoming turn, not 3, so they uptick their Ren and 6. Fairy Time Raveler, okay. I mean, they're bouncing the Dryad. I'm very inclined to just completely slam this Primeval Titan into play. Oh no, they're holding up a Remand now, too. At least if we cast a Titan and force them to Remand, they can't fetch for a Dwarven Mine and plan to do the, like, combo thing. We can play Radiant Fountain for value. I don't think that makes much of a difference. Yeah, I guess we're just playing Titan. If they don't have the remand, then we get to set up Valcut, and we already have 1 land drop to go, which is nice. They don't have the remand. Okay. I mean, we might just die to Valcut, not Valcut, to the Polymorph combo here, but we'll see. So our opponent is most likely going to have to double bolt our Titan, or answer it in some way. I don't know if we need to worry about them countering our Dryad. Like, I have some mind to get Valcut and Cavernous Souls naming Dryad here. That said, we won't have lethal this upcoming turn unless we get to both resolve the Dryad and a Primeval Titan, which I don't think we have enough mana to do. We'd activate the 6, 7. So I guess in that case, we would have enough to cast Dryad and Titan. So I guess for that reason, it is probably correct to get Valcut and Cavern here. I keep trying to say Vesuva, while Cavern naming Dryad, because that's the one we most want to resolve. And we'll pass it back and see what happens. I don't think their polymorph effects let them attack with the Emrakul immediately. Unless they also happen to be playing through the Breach, which I kind of doubt, but I guess it's possible. What a card. Dwarven Mine. I actually think that the Dwarven Mine thing, making them have like a sort of an I win button, sort of like a Scapeshift deck would, is pretty inventive. Admittedly, I don't know if it's actually better than actual Scapeshift, but they make a blue. They make a green. Growth Spiral. Okay. They make a land. Maybe they do have Scapeshift. Interesting. They would have Dwarven Mine and Scapeshift in the same deck. Hopefully we don't just die to Scapeshift. At this point, I'm not really sure what to expect. Three. So we activate 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So we are good to cast Dryad plus Titan all in one turn, depending on what they do here. We'll just yield through this turn. What is this? 7 mana, 5/5 Flying Vigilance Haste, Velomachus Lorehold. When it attacks, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may cast an instant or sorcery with mana value less than or equal to its power from among them without paying the cost, and then put the rest on the bottom in any order, or in a random order. Alright, so they get an extra turn. We could definitely die to this just chaining several... What is going on, dude? I guess they're... Okay, so I get it. They're polymorphing not into Emrakul, but into Velomachus, of course, so that they can take several turns for free by casting everything off of the Velomachus and just killing all in one fell swoop, rather than just needing a turn cycle with an Emrakul in play. That makes a lot of sense. Right, no extra turn card. No extra turn card. You don't want to cast it. Trust me, you don't need it. Lightning Bolt. Okay, so they're double bolting the Titan. Well, we have lethal with the Valcut, Primeval Titan Dryad thing, so no big deal. Alright, opponent is dead. Alright, we gotta sequence this correctly. Alright, first things first. We'll play... I guess we want to use the Cavern here for the uncounterable, as if it matters. We'll play the Dryad. We'll get 1 Valcut trigger. Namely, so that we can save targets upstairs and set up the always yield part, at least. And now we won't have to do anything with any of the other triggers. Whew, this was a very close game. Alright, here comes Primeval Titan, setting up more Valcuts for the lethal. Whew, it was a very good thing that we went to set up this line. Oh, man. Yes, I'd like to use this ability. Why, yes, Valcut and Vesuva copying Valcut seems like a pretty good move. All upstairs. All right, game 2. So clearly our opponent's polymorphing, so we're gonna want Dismembers and Beast Withins. I guess they do have Teferi Time Raveler, potentially that could be problematic, but I mean we can also Beast Within Velomachus itself, which would not be the worst thing in the world. We could Pithing Needle, name Renin 6 perhaps. Don't know how good Pithing Needle is here. We could Pithing Needle fetch land. That seems kind of gotcha-y. Oh, you know what? Grafdigger's Cage is insane here. If we sacrifice an Urza Saga to get Cage, I don't know if our opponent can actually realistically win. I don't think we want Trackers. Our opponent just has Bolts. Man, that Cage is very exciting. And I guess we want Pact Negation, I guess. We'll trim a Pact. Probably don't need Bog. Ghost Quarter doesn't seem very interesting here either. We can trim on Grazer. And definitely trim on Explorers. This is probably a matchup that's going to be determined by how fast we can get to Titan. Turn Timber is debatable. Like, it's okay. We probably don't need the map here, as we're just going to search for Grafdigger's Cage pretty much off snap. Snap it off. Alright, our opponent gets to be on the play. Let's see if we can do the Urza Saga thing. Come on. One time. I mean, we get to cast Beast Within with his hand. Is that what we want to be doing? Our opponent mulligans to 6. I feel like we can mulligan to something stronger. That's what I'm going to do. This is not very much stronger. I think we're mulliganing to 5. We want to turn 1 Saga. That's what we want to see. Grafdigger's Cage coming clutch. And to think that some people are playing Tormod's Crypt. Shameful. We'll mulligan. There we go. There's a Saga. We have literally nothing else of interest, but we'll keep this. We can bottom the Sunhome. And I guess the Radiant Fountain? Sure. The Heath lets us fetch for a breeding pool, potentially, to pay for a Pact of Negation. Or to play a turn 2 Explorer, which we don't have in deck, but, you know, no big deal. Absolutely, turn 1 Saga is the plan. Hopefully they don't Cleansing Wildfire it, but, I mean, it's going to take several turns to get rolling anyway, so we might as well play it out on turn 1. No Cleansing Wildfire. No Cleansing Wildfire. Don't do it. You don't want to do it. No Cleansing Wildfire. Play Renin 6. Play Renin 6. There we go. Green, red. Good. Good, good, good. That's what you wanted to do. Okay. Admittedly, I don't know if just having a Grafdigger's Cage is going to be enough for us to realistically win here. We'll play out the Garenbrig, I suppose. Pass it back. That said, we don't really have anything else going, so getting an Amulet isn't really setting this hand up very much at all, so... Maybe this Grafdigger's Cage will go the distance? Our opponent could have a Braid as well, which would kind of make our Grafdigger's Cage a little sad, but... I mean, admittedly, they could have braided an Amulet just as easily as they could have braided Grafdigger's Cage, so... No Cleansing Wildfire. Do not do it. No Field of Ruins, which I don't think they would play anyways. No Cleansing Wildfire, none of that. None of that garbage. There we go, just pass it back. Okay, no Nimble Obstructionist. Do not stifle my Urza Saga. Alright, we'll float the mana this time because we've learned a lesson. And we drew the Amulet, which is actually amazing because now it just means that we can easily search for Cage and not really sacrifice anything here. Because we have an Amulet already ready to go. How about that? And now we can Beast Within our opponent's Ren as well, so they can't clock us with that one. Might want to do that at instant speed, though. We'll see. We could also just wait on that. I don't know what else we would want to Beast Within, so... Alright, opponents, are you going to let it resolve? They must be scared. They're thinking, what can they get with this? Boom! Grafdigger's Cage. That's what I thought. And see, it does work. We can use the mana that we floated in our main phase, which is very nice to know. Remand. Really? Really? Okay, here's the Amulet. And I guess we'll just play Forest. Could play Heath. I don't really see a reason to, necessarily. We're several land sources away from paying for a pact of negation, so not super worried about that. Yeah, forest it is. I almost accidentally clicked on the sanctuary. That would have been not good. All right, Cage, we need you to carry this entire game for us. We have nothing else going. For the record, this also turns off potential Snapcaster Mage shenanigans as well, so they can't, like, snap remand us. That's nice. They play Tap Foundry, okay. Yeah, I think we're going to inset Beast Within this Ren. We don't want to do it in our main phase and then let them remand it and then untap with full mana. There's just no reason to do that. And we'll be able to play Sanctuary to make Titan mana this upcoming turn, so this also might clear the window for us. Well, there we go. Speak of the devil. This might clear the window for us to resolve a Titan if they feel like they have to respond to the Beast Within, so land go. They might think they have infinite remands here, but they... Perhaps they do, perhaps they don't, depending on if they can answer this Beast Within cycle. Alright, let's just go ahead and Beast Within now, then. Getting Breeding Pool, of course. Setting up our blue mana for the sneaky little Pact of Negation. Boom. Run in 6. Get out of here. Pass it back. Look at our hate cards doing exactly what they're designed to do. Now we just have to actually resolve a Titan and we'll be good. I don't know how easy it will be to resolve a Titan. I would assume our opponent's deck, this Velomachus deck, is playing remands and not something like Counterspell, especially since they need to set up so many mountains. They don't want to fetch Shock on turn 2 to be able to play a Counterspell. It probably makes more sense for them to be able to fetch a basic mountain and cast Remand, especially since they're just going to end the game with Velomachus anyways. So, like, I don't know. Actually, while our opponent's just making us wait here anyways, we might as well use this opportunity to go look up a deck list for our opponent. Alright, I'm here with a deck list for presumably what our opponent might be playing. We see mini Prismari commands, which is something that can kill our Cage for sure. They do have the various abilities that allow them to polymorph into Velomachus. They only play 2, which is interesting. They play Remands and Aether Gusts. They have 4 Aether Gusts in the sideboard. So, I mean, either way, we're probably just jamming, but... What? Does this not work? Creature cards in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield. Oh my gosh! This is the same stuff as freaking Living End. It says those players put the exiled cards onto the battlefield, then shuffle. So Velomachus comes into play from exile, not from the... Oh my gosh, that's so frustrating. Okay. Alright. Composure. We can pack for a Titan and get it into play and attack with it. What can we do after that? We can get... I mean, we can't really do much after that. I guess we can hold up Pact of Negation. This does cast the extra turn spells, right? You may cast an instant or sorcery from among them. Okay. So we can pack their extra turn spell if they find it and hope that the pact resolves. Although, to be honest, we're about to have to pay for Summoner's Pact anyway, so... I don't know. I guess we just have to hope that they don't hit an extra turn spell. That was gross. I really thought this Cage did something! Man, imagine if this was a second Amulet now. Oh my gosh. That's just pitiful. Okay, so... We're about to get Garrison Stronghold. And that'll put us up to 6 mana if we pick up a regular land here. And then we can search for Talari West and something else. Probably Talari West bounce land, just in case they can double bolt the Titan. Assuming we even get to untap. And we can transmute for Dryad, I guess. We could also get Cavern of Souls and Valakut. Cavern of Souls and Talari West on the attack. I don't know if that makes as much sense. I don't know if we can play around our opponent having Gust or something like that. I think it's going to be correct to pick up a regular land here. rather than a bounce land, but it could be wrong. We also have the opportunity to just pick up a bounce land from our Titan ETB or attack, so we have multiple lands in hand to trigger Dryad, though, so I don't think it's a big problem. We'll get Garrison and Slayers, of course. I really thought this cage would do something. Well, now I can say for sure we are absolutely learning, because I did not know that cage didn't work against this effect. Let's pick up... Let's see, if we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we'd be one short of paying for both packs, sadly. Even having picked up all the non-bounce land lands, so I guess it doesn't really matter. If we have to pay 4 for our pack, we have 1, 2, 3, plus the 2 lands we're about to get is 5. If we pick up a regular land, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2... whatever. Let's just pick up the Stronghold, I think. We're probably not going to untap, so... I've kind of checked out of this game after that Grafdigger's Cage thing. I hate to say it, but it is the case. Talari West, and... we can get Valcut if we don't expect our Primeval Titan to die. I think that if they don't hit an extra turns card, they'll probably hit a second Bolt effect if they have one in hand to kill our Titan, so I think we probably do actually just need to get the Growth Chamber, sadly. And here we just pick up, I guess, the Garrison. We could pick up this and have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana in play. So we could have 4 to pay, play a Dryad. No, we'd have to attack, go up to 6 mana, transmute, play a Dryad, play Valcut. Yeah, I think it's fine to just pick up the Garenbrig here. Maybe overcomplicating this. We're probably not gonna untap, sadly. Well, I guess we don't want to yield through this turn. I mean, we can't pay for both packs, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we're one short. And our opponent has Teferi anyways, so... oh well. They bounced the cage. I don't see why they would do that, but okay. It's just creature cards, right? Spells from Graves of Life. I guess they can't cast for Velomachus if we have Grafdigger's Cage in play. It doesn't matter, though. It's not like we could have Pact Negation this Teferi, because we would have died to double Pact Trigger, so... I guess the cage does something. It stops them from casting. It doesn't stop them from polymorphing into the Velomachus, though. Very awkward stuff. I guess if we get to untap, then we win. Maybe. Another Time Warp. And we're dead. Coolio. That was all kinds of emotions. The cage isn't completely dead. That's good to know. Don't think we want explosives here. I guess if we drop an explosives for 0 and just hold up 2 mana, they can never polymorph, though, right? I'll give it a shot. And we can trim the Grazers, I guess. We're trying to play a bit of a longer game here. Alright, we'll submit this way. Believe it or not, this is only the second time I've played against a Velomachus deck, and obviously I haven't played against it enough to even realize that it's a Velomachus deck until it happens, so... still trying to learn how to deal with this strategy at the moment. Do we need a faster hand in this? I mean, we have Dismember to interact with their Polymorph, assuming that they don't have a Teferi Time Raveler in play, which may not be a good assumption. How many do they even play? Play 3, okay. That is a significant number. It's not 0, though. I said it's not 0. I meant to say it's not 4, though. You can mold a 5. Huh. Yeah, I think maybe we should mulligan here. Trying to find something a bit better. Our Turn Timber is being one savior of an untapped source here. We'll keep. We bottom the Beast Within, and I guess the Garrison. Cool. We have a potential turn 3 Titan here, if we draw it. That is faster than turn 4 Velomachus, although it may not be as lethal, depending. We got a take the 3 life, but it's well worth the life, in my opinion. Pass it back. Man, this match is wild. Taps demons. Cool, cool. Getting their F6 value. I appreciate that. Titan off the top. That's not a Titan. Alright, well, at least we get to hold up Dismember. Not like it's going to be relevant this particular turn, but I guess we could potentially just cast a Turn Temur Symbiosis if we don't find a Titan. That would be kind of difficult to do, but no, if we play this, we have 2 plays of the Growth Chamber, float with all of our lands that are currently in play, and then cast the sorcery side of Turn Temur, so not nothing. Just yield until their end step. We're not going to be casting anything. Titan? Admittedly, even if we draw Titan, it might be better to cast Turn Temur just in case they do have interaction. I mean, their interaction is... Okay, well, there's a Titan. Their interaction is things like Aether Gust and Remand, so admittedly, it's not like Turn Temur plays around anything in particular. I guess if they were playing something like Is It Charm to try to set up their combo, then playing the Turn Temur would be worse. Playing Titan here also lets us hold up Dismember, which, again, I don't think it's quite relevant just yet, but... Anyways, we'll try. Also, playing Titan instead of Turn Temur lets us use the Turn Temur for a white mana and immediately get Valakut plus Stronghold right off the jump if it does resolve, which is basically guaranteed lethal, assuming they don't double bolt our Dryad. We're clearly keeping the Growth Chamber in hand here. I mean, we have no choice but to just jam, though. I mean, it's not getting better for us. We have to play through these Remands and Aether Gusts. If they have an actual factual counterspell or like a Mana Leak or something, I guess they got us, but if they don't have any of those, then we actually just win, basically. And we can get the Valakut plus Stronghold here, and even if they do go for something that kills our Dryad, we can float in response and still be able to haste our Titan, so Valakut plus Stronghold. Put these on the stack. See what our opponent has to say about it. If they cast something, we'll float. Casted nothing. Okay. Does that mean they have nothing? Do they have something to bounce our Titan? Like, okay, we'll swing. Just 10 damage, so 1 Valakut plus any other land is already lethal enough, so we don't need to overextend by getting Vesuva copying Valakut. Which means instead, I guess I'm interested in setting up a Tolaria West. Sure. If this is how this match ends, I'm actually going to be a little disappointed, because this is just like the standard Titan stuff, and our opponent just didn't happen to have the interaction. I wouldn't even be satisfied with that, to be honest. I mean, I'm satisfied with every one I get, don't get me wrong, but like, this would just be a lame way to win, right? Our opponent just played some lands and literally nothing else, and that's all? Now they play an Aether on the Titan, of all things. Okay. That should have been cast a very long time ago. That should have been cast when we played the Titan in the first place. Our opponent's at 6. Now they're at 4. And the Dryad plus land is already lethal next turn by itself. So... Yeah, you done messed up, opponent. Oh, that was not a great choice, not gusting there, but you know what, that's okay. We were learning, and clearly our opponent was learning too, so ridiculous match there. But I don't know what else I can say. At least I learned that the Grafdigger's Cage does something. I'm pretty sure it stops them from casting their turn spells from the deck when they attack with Velomachus. Just makes it a 5/5 flyer, which admittedly could be enough to beat us if they had enough remands or whatever, but so I guess searching for Cage there is not wrong, necessarily. I think maybe getting the first Amulet would have been better than the Cage on the first Saga, but any Saga after that, getting a Cage would have been very good. Anyways, whatever. Help me understand the deck our opponent was playing. Tell me what I'm supposed to play around, and maybe we can learn together. And regardless of whatever happened in those games, we are currently 2-0, so crazy stuff happens. This is Modern, and I will see you guys in the next match. This is Red Face Menace, signing off.